Stop. Just for a moment, stop everything. Not because you have to, but because something deep inside you already knows this moment is different. There's a reason you're here, reading these words at this exact point in your life. That is not coincidence. That is not accident. That is the quiet, relentless hand of God, pulling you towards something you haven't fully seen yet, but you've felt it. Haven't you? That whisper, that stirring, that feeling you can't quite name but can't quite shake either. God has something to say to you today. Not to the world in general. Not to the person next to you. To you, with your history, your wounds, your questions, your unspoken prayers, and your tired, beautiful, still beating heart. Are you ready to hear it? Here is the truth, and it comes without sugarcoating. The season you just walked through was one of the hardest chapters of your life. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to wonder if things will ever really change. You've prayed. You've waited. You've held on when everything inside you wanted to let go. Some days, faith felt like the only thing keeping you upright. And even that felt thin. God sees that. Every single night you lay awake with a mind full of worries you couldn't share with anyone. Every time you smiled on the outside while something inside you was quietly breaking. Every unanswered prayer you tucked away, wondering if heaven was even listening. It was listening. It is listening right now. And this is what God wants you to understand. Not someday, not eventually, but right now, your pain was never punishment. Your delay was never abandonment. The silence you interpreted as absence was actually the sound of something being prepared for you that your current eyes couldn't yet contain. Let that land. There are things you've been carrying that were never yours to carry. Guilt over who you used to be. Shame over choices you made in seasons of confusion or pain. Anger, some of it at others, some of it at yourself, and some of it, if you're honest, directed right at God. Why didn't He move sooner? Why did He allow that to happen? Why did the prayer you prayed with everything you had seem to fall flat on the floor? Those questions are not disqualifying. They are human. They are holy. And today, God is not asking you to pretend they don't exist. He's asking you something harder, to trust Him even while holding them. Because here is what faith actually looks like. Not the cleaned-up version you see on a Sunday morning, but the real kind. Faith looks like continuing to take the next step even when you can't see the ground beneath your feet. It looks like releasing the need to understand everything before you surrender to something greater. It looks like saying, even through clenched teeth, I don't see it yet, but I believe you. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains. And God says, you have more of it than you realize. Now, let's talk about who you actually are, because somewhere along the way you believed a lie about yourself. Maybe it was whispered to you in childhood and you just never challenged it. Maybe it came from someone who hurt you, someone you trusted, someone whose words cut deeper than they had any right to. Maybe it came from your own voice in your worst moments when failure made you feel like a failure. Permanently, irreversibly, completely. That voice was wrong. You were not created to be small. You were not built for a life of surviving. You were crafted for a life of meaning, depth, impact, and joy that goes all the way to the bone. God did not put you on this earth to just get through the week. He put you here to carry something only you can carry, to reach people only you can reach, to love in a way that only your particular history has equipped you to love. Your story, even the broken parts, especially the broken parts, is not something to be ashamed of. It is the very material from which your purpose is being built. And here is something the enemy does not want you to hear today. You are on the verge. Not far from the breakthrough. Not in the middle of a permanent season of loss. You are at the edge of something that is about to shift, in your relationships, in your direction, in your sense of self, in the very atmosphere of your daily life. God is not done writing your story. Not even close. The doors that felt sealed, He holds the keys. The opportunities that seemed to pass you by, He is positioning new ones, better ones, ones aligned not just with what you wanted, but with who you are truly becoming. The relationships that left empty spaces in your life, He is moving people toward you right now, people of depth, integrity, and purpose, who will walk alongside you in this next chapter. But you have to be willing to believe it before you see it. That is the divine order. Not see, then believe. Believe, then see. Let's talk about forgiveness now, because this might be the door standing between you and everything waiting on the other side. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was okay. It does not mean the person who hurt you deserves a place back in your life. It does not require their apology, their acknowledgement, or even their presence. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is a key you use to unlock your own cell. Because here is what holding on to unforgiveness actually does. It ties you to the past, keeps the wound fresh. It hands power to someone who already took too much from you. And every day you carry that resentment, you are paying a debt that isn't yours to pay. God is asking you today, gently, not forcefully, to lay it down. The betrayal, the abandonment, the cruelty you didn't deserve, the person who should have protected you and didn't, the version of yourself you haven't forgiven yet. Lay it at his feet, not because it's easy, because it's freedom, and you were created for freedom. Now hear this, and hear it clearly. You are not alone. Not in the way people say it when they don't know what else to say. Truly, actually, cosmically, you are not alone. There is a divine presence that has been with you in every room you've ever broken down in every car ride where the tears came before you expected them, in every 3 a.m. moment when the weight of your life felt impossible to hold. God was there, not watching from a distance. There, closer than your next breath, more present than your own heartbeat. And the signs have been real. The song that came on at exactly the right moment. The stranger whose words reached something in you they couldn't have possibly known about. The dream that stayed with you. The moment of unexpected peace in the middle of chaos. Those were not accidents. Those were messages. Those were proof of a love that does not give up on you, that cannot give up on you, because it is not capable of abandoning what it created. You have been asking, maybe quietly, maybe desperately, what is my purpose? And if no one has said this to you clearly, that is one of the most sacred questions a human being can carry. It means you are awake. It means you are listening. It means you are not willing to sleepwalk through the one life you've been given. Your purpose is not a job title. It is not a single moment or a single achievement. It is a thread woven through everything. The way you love people, the way you show up in small moments, the way your presence changes the atmosphere of a room even when you're not trying to. Your purpose is already active. It does not require perfection to function. It only requires you, the real you, not the curated version, not the version that has it all together, but the honest, present, fully alive you. God is not waiting for you to become a better version of yourself before he uses you. He is using you right now exactly as you are. So what do you do with all of this? You start with one thing, not a list, not a complete life overhaul. One thing. You choose today to believe even just a little that this is not the end of your story, that the best of what God has for you has not already passed, that the person reading these words right now is someone whose greatest chapters are still ahead. You don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to feel the faith before you live by it. You take the next step, then the next, and you trust that the path will become clear as you walk it, not before. Because that is how divine guidance works. Not a map handed to you all at once. A lantern that illuminates just enough for the next step. And then the next. And the whole journey is covered, one step of trust at a time. The future God has prepared for you is not a small thing. It is not a backup plan or a consolation prize. It is something that, if you could see it right now, would take your breath away. A depth of joy you haven't accessed yet. A peace that doesn't depend on your circumstances. A sense of purpose so clear and so alive that the former weight of confusion will feel like a distant memory. That is what is ahead. That is what you are being prepared for. And you are more ready than you think. So let today be the day you stop waiting to feel worthy and start walking like you already are. Let today be the day you stop rehearsing your worst moments and start releasing them. Let today be the day you decide, not because everything has changed, but because you are choosing to change, that you will walk forward in faith, in hope, and in the unshakable knowledge that you are loved by a God who sees you completely and chooses you anyway. Every day, every moment, every version of you, you are seen, you are known, you are loved, and your greatest chapter starts right now. If this message reached something real in you today, something you needed to hear, take a moment in the comments and tell us what it was. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded they are not alone. And if you haven't yet, join this community, because this is just the beginning of what God is speaking into this season.